Hey guys, I just wanted to start reading to you. This is going to be part one of chapter one of The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. The reason I chose this book is it ties in social studies because it's talking about a real life story of a boy from Malawi, Africa, who had faced a problem. So you guys, during the Force and Energy unit, invented something, found a problem, and came up with an invention came up with a solution for it. So what he ended up doing is there was a drought in his country, and he learned using old science textbooks, and basically experimenting, building a windmill out of trash and scraps that he was able to find. Again, tying in the social studies with the science. So we're going to read part one of chapter one today, along with the prologue. So it's about 17 pages, and then you guys will be doing the pre-book writing before that, okay? So I will start. The prologue. The machine was ready. After so many months of preparation, the world was finally complete. The motor and blades were bolted and secure, the chain was taut and heavy with grease, and the tower stood steady on its legs. The muscles in my backs and arms had grown hard as green fruit from all the pulling and lifting, and although I had barely slept that night before, I never felt so awake. My invention was complete. It appeared exactly as it had been in my dreams. News of my work had spread far and wide, and now people began to arrive. The traders in the market had watched it rise from a distance, and they'd closed up their shops, while the truck drivers left their vehicles on the road. They had crossed the valley toward my home, and now they gathered under the machine, looking up in wonder. I recognized their faces. These same men had teased me from the beginning, and still they whispered, even laughed. Let them, I thought. It was time. I pulled myself onto the tower's first rung and began to climb. The soft wood groaned under my weight as I reached the top. Then I stood level with my creation. It was steel bones were welded and bent, and its plastic arms were blackened from fire. I admired in other places the bottle-capped washers, rusted tractor parts, and old bicycle frames. Each one told its own story of discovery. Each piece had lost and then found it in a time of fear and hunger and pain. Together now we are all being reborn. In one hand I clutched a small reed that held a tiny light bulb. I now connected it to a pair of wires and dangled it from my machine, then prepared for the final steps. Down below, the crowd cackled like hens. Quiet, everyone, someone said. Let's see how crazy this boy really is. Just then a strong gust of wind whistled through the rungs and pushed me through the tower. Reaching over, I unlocked the machine's spinning wheel and watched it begin to turn. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, until the whole tower rocked back and forth. My knees turned to jelly, but I held on. I pled in silence, don't let me down. Then I gripped the reed and wires and waited for the miracle of electricity. Finally it came, a tiny flicker in my palm and then a magnificent glow. The crowd gasped and the children pushed for a better look. It's true, someone said. Yes, said another. The boy has done it. He has made electric wind. Chapter 1, When the Magic Ruled the World. My name is William Kawamba, and to understand the story I'm about to tell, you must first understand the country that raised me. Malawi is a tiny country in southeastern Africa. On a map, it appears like a flatworm burying its way through Zambia, Mozambique, and Tanzania, looking for a little room. Malawi is often called the warm heart of Africa, which says nothing about its location, but everything about the people who called it home. The Kawambas hailed from the center of the country, from a tiny village called Mastila, located on the outskirts of the town of Wimbe. You might be wondering what an African village looks like. Well, ours consists of about 10 houses, each one made of mud bricks and painted white. For most of my life, our roofs were made from long grasses that we picked near the swamps, or dambos in our Chiwa language. The grasses kept us cool in the hot months, but during the cold nights of winter, the frost crept into our bones, and we slept under an extra pile of blankets. Every house in the Mastila belongs to my large extended family of aunts and uncles and cousins. In our house, there was me, my mother and father, and my 6 sisters, along with some goats and guinea fowl and a few chickens. When people hear I am only a boy among 6 girls, they often say, "Hey, Bambo," which is like saying, "Hey, man, so sorry for you." And it's true. The downside to having only sisters is I often got bullied at school, since I had no older brothers to protect me, and my sisters were always messing with my things, especially my tools and inventions, giving me no privacy. Whenever I asked my parents, why do we have so many girls in the first place, I always got the same answer.